مشاهدينا في كل مكان، اهلا ومرحبا بكم. احنا معكم النهارده هنستكمل حوارنا مع سعاده السفير اندريس رازانس، سفير جمهوريه لاتفيا لدى جمهوريه مصر العربيه. هنتحدث عن العلاقات ما بين الدولتين، وايضا هنتكلم عن الاستثمارات والعلاقات التجاريه بينهم. لو عايزين تعرفوا اكتر عن تلك الموضوعات تابعونا وهذا اللقاء.
I'm not a novice in our diplomacy. I joined our diplomatic service more than 30 years ago, basically having done everything starting from the lowest ranks in diplomacy to the highest. Yes, I had some experience with Morocco, but that was quite a long time ago. Well, we attract quite many tourists, and as a matter of fact, Latvia is relatively or quite an easy, accessible place. It's easy to reach the country by air. Women, they have been playing extremely important role within families. Latvian society historically mostly was farmer society, people that had been working on in countryside.
مشاهدينا في كل مكان، بنستكمل حوارنا اليوم مع سعادة السفير أندريس رازانس، سفير جمهورية لاتفيا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. Your Excellency, thank you so much for having us for the second time and to continue our talk.
You're welcome. Most welcome.
At the beginning, I would like to know more about the history of the relations between Egypt and Latvia. When did it start and how it was?
Well, the diplomatic relations between our two countries started in 1992. It doesn't mean that before that there were no relations. Of course there were, and Egypt is well-known place, well-known country in Latvia, and people, they have been traveling to Egypt from Latvia through years, and myself as a student, I studied history, and one of the very first topics I studied at university, that was history of Egypt and Egyptology. That was some time ago. But diplomatic relations between two states, yes, they started in 92. Of course, I'm sure we would have relations even a bit earlier. The issue was that until 1990, Latvia was still part of Soviet Union. We were under Soviet occupation. From 1940. Latvia was established as independent country in 1918, and basically we had extremely difficult negotiations that time as well during the Paris Peace Conference. At the end after the First World War, and international recognition of my country was in 1921. But then, of course, we had this 50 years or half a century occupation under the Soviet government, Soviet regime, and we were not able really to develop relations with people of Egypt, with Egypt as a country. Yes, it started in 92. Our governments exchanged diplomatic notes, and Latvia was again internationally recognized in 91. And of course, a little bit later, I'm very glad that Egypt, it didn't take long for Egypt to recognize us and establish diplomatic relations again. So it was something what happened. And then in 2007, Latvia was the first Baltic state that opened embassy in Egypt. And since then, there is a Latvian embassy in Cairo. And I'm the fourth Latvian ambassador in Egypt. And I have an excellent diplomatic team here at the embassy. That's a little bit about the history of our relations. But as I say, Latvia didn't fall down from a tree in 1918. We had things before, and of course relations with Egypt and people of Egypt are much older.
So let's talk more about the field of cooperation in between the two countries to enhance this history that we have been talking about. So please allow me to start with the cultural cooperation between Egypt and Latvia. Can you describe how it's done now and what's going on through it?
With pleasure. I think culture, that's an area where I see really we can cooperate extremely efficiently. I have been long enough in diplomacy to understand the meaning of a culture when it comes to diplomacy or relations between two states. And well, since beginning of my work here in Egypt, of course, I have been given as well very important priority to the field of culture. We had already during previous years of our relations good projects and good agreements. You have great opera house, for instance, here in Cairo. We have wonderful opera house in Latvia. They had an agreement for cooperation. They have been cooperating for quite a long time. Through these contacts, of course, the knowledge of my country in Egypt grew, and as well Egypt's knowledge back home grew as Egyptians, Latvians like culture. That's something what I can say. And here, yes, we just recently had a wonderful project with the University of Helnan, the Faculty of Fine Arts. About a couple of weeks ago, we had one of the most known Latvian painters here on a visit for half a week. He was in a project together with University of Helnan. They have been painting together with students in different places in Cairo, around Cairo. The lecture on history of Latvian art has been as well given at university. So these are the very practical but very important aspects of my diplomatic work here, and embassy certainly considers it as very important. And there are many other ideas in making. So that's be assured that this part of our activity, diplomatic activity, will be very active. That's what I see.
Your Excellency, allow me to take from your speech about the cultural cooperation, especially the part about the fine art, university cooperation in the field of drawing and having fine arts. I want to ask about the cooperation in the field of education. Mm-hmm. Do we have also a cooperation in this field or no? Maybe some student can go and come and they transfer between the two countries or something like this?
I'm very glad to notice and to tell that there is profound interest on both sides to develop what we already have and to expand education cooperation, relations among different universities. And already today we have several projects that's actually in a process of continuation, especially in area of engineering and technology education. I had recently visited my country and had a very good conversation with Riga Technical University. That's one of the best technical universities in Europe for sure. And I spoke to rector, and they have already a couple of projects with your universities, very practical, and they're looking forward really to expand. And then it's easy for us diplomats to find other avenues how we can proceed. But I think it's very fertile ground actually to develop our relations, because I have noticed that, I have seen that there is strong interest. And if there is strong interest on both sides, then it's easier for us diplomats. It's simply, we have to then click these ends together like in a puzzle, but it's worse. As well, we have been thinking about not only about cooperation in areas of education when it comes to engineering or sciences, but as well art and there was maybe architecture. That's something what we can really promote, and I think in these areas Of course, Egypt is well known, and Latvia as well, maybe not that big as physically as Egypt, but we as well, we are punching above our weight here, and it makes sense simply.
Also, Your Excellency, I would like to talk about the trading in between the two countries. Is there any trading in between the two countries in any field, and especially the field of technology? Is there any trading in it?
Well, I should say that yes, there is trade, of course, and it's been there since already some time. The figures are really very adequate to our size. As I said, we are not the biggest country. On the other hand, the groups of products what our countries are trading, they keep changing, and important part of it, of course, it's those are technologies, but certainly we are not reached the maximum of our limits. I think there are plenty of opportunities that still wait for opening. And I should say that from conversations with businesses back home, there is a very profound interest about Egypt. Our businesses view Egypt as part of extremely important region, and as well huge potential market, but as well as a springboard further to African countries or Middle East. So it's something that there is a good understanding and good knowledge among Latvian businesses. I should add that although Latvia is a relatively small country, but we're part of European common market, so meaning that basically we're part of this big European market. We share the same currency as Germany or France, it's euro, and in that zone, Eurozone, we have the same rules and laws. That's as well. If yes, it's a state, it's a national state, but we are part of this bigger market. And for that, I'm very pleased to notice that recently there has been agreement between European Union. Latvia is part of it, and our taxpayers as well are paying into budget of Europe. As anybody else in Europe, but there was agreement between European Commission and Egypt,
yes,
and your president on lifting up the relationship, to bring it up to a new strategic level, to comprehensive strategic level of these relations. End of June, there will be a business forum between Europe and Egypt, investment forum, and I'm very glad to notice that our chambers of trade and commerce and businesses, they are interested in this forum, and we're waiting as well for Latvian delegation. So that's, I'm very pleased for that, honestly.
that there will be investment in the future in several fields here in Egypt due to طبعا the position of Egypt.
I have no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that, and as well, of course, we have never, in my country, we have never stopped the pace of reforms, economic reforms, as well as in Egypt. There is a moment of economic reforms right now. Of course, those are very important reforms, and when there is a good result coming from these reforms, and really we highly appreciate what we see that happens in Egypt these days, then of course it will open new opportunities. I'm sure about. I'm not a businessman. I'm not trying to sell anything. I think that's a job for companies and for those who are in business. But as a diplomat, as a person who had studied at university, I clearly see that there is a good opportunity that's coming, and I'm very happy about that.
Your Excellency, now I would like to ask you about tourist destinations that you have been to in Egypt, or you can to go to it. So, what can you tell us?
Well, you have such a wonderful choice of destinations. To each and every corner you look, you find something. And I would wish I would have a bit more time to travel and to visit the places, but it's really, I'm doing my best. Of course, I'm a governmental official, but I think one of the most important tasks of each and every diplomat is to learn a country you are stationed to, and it means as well you have to travel. You have to meet people, you have to visit the places, and you have to talk. And in Egypt, you have really great variety of touristic destinations with very different character, with very different histories. For instance, I love so much the Islamic Cairo, the old medieval Cairo. There is some link with my capital, Riga. Of course, very distant link, but I like the old streets in Cairo, and but I like as well pyramids. We have been traveling with my family from time to time. Fayoum and Wadi al-Qitan, that's I think one of the best places what I have ever seen in my life. It's such a sense of freedom, and you see that you are standing on a real witness of what we today probably call climate change, but there used to be a water. And you can see from all these shells and remnants from the whales in desert. It's really fantastic. I haven't been to Sinai. That's something I'm for the future. But as well Mediterranean part, the coastline. So many things you can choose based on your taste and interest.
And Your Excellency, what about the Egyptian cuisine? Did you try any of it, and which is your favorite dish?
Your cuisine is very different from ours, but it's very good. It's really good. I like it so much, and sometimes I like as well very simple things. And for instance, fava beans, that's something what we have fava beans in my country as well. We produce them, we grow them, but we consume them significantly less what you are doing. And nice and tasty fours and baladi bread, that's something that really goes nicely. And of course, not even I can't avoid mentioning koshari. I think that's something what I think I can eat almost every time. And pastries, that's marvelous what you have.
Your Excellency, that's final of our meeting for today. Thank you so much for all this time and all the information that you shared with us.
Well, thank you so much. Really, it was my pleasure to spend this time together with all of you. I hope that I have given you a good reason to read about my country and visit my country, and if you do, you will not be disappointed. Welcome to Latvia.
وبكده مشاهدينا في كل مكان انتهى لقائنا النهارده مع سعادة السفير أندريس رازانس سفير جمهورية لاتفيا لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. تحدثنا مع سعادة السفير عن العلاقات ما بين الدولتين، وأيضا تحدثنا عن أبرز الأماكن السياحية اللي توجه إليها، بالإضافة طبعا لأبرز الأماكن والمعلومات الخاصة بالتجارة ما بين الدولتين والاستثمارات. بتمنى أن تكونوا استفدتوا معانا في حلقة النهارده، واشوفكم على خير في الحلقة القادمة، وإلى اللقاء.